Hello and welcome to the July edition of Table Football Monthly. And our biggest announcement this month, look who's back!
Hey,
it's
Smiffy
after
Hello.
14 weeks.
Wonderful.
How you doing, son?
Oh, I'm doing all right, mate. Thank you. It's the rest of them. You missed me?
I suppose we've missed him a bit, haven't we? It's
Not
not been the same.
No,
it's been quieter.
Well, can I mention a couple of things while I'm saying?
The floor's all yours, Smiffy.
Thank you very much indeed. First of all, make the most of this. Well done to you for keeping TFM going through these lockdown times. Much appreciated. I'm sure it was out there as well.
He hasn't done that in 50 years, but that's very kind
And
of
it'll
you.
never happen again, by the way.
I'll make the most of it.
And also a big thank you to all you out there for our get well messages to me and the present Mrs. Smith. Much appreciated. And also a quick update.
Yeah, how's the girl doing? Our favourite Sue.
The plaster cast is off.
Yay.
She's having physio. Bad news. She can get down the stairs now and see all the cleaning I haven't done.
Your lazy days are
Wow,
over.
there was all that football on the telly, wasn't there? couldn't miss that.
Right now, I am not. That was the update and all the bits.
That's it, yeah.
There's nothing else you wanted to give me, like money or...
No money. Well, you don't give me none, so what's the point?
Right now, I am not going to give you a great long run through of everything that is on the programme today, because there is...
Oodles of it. Oodles.
Not just oodles. If you got hold of the world's biggest oodle bucket,
No.
we couldn't fit all the oodles we've got in it.
Even another.
There is so much. Now, we have got a new pitch, and I can hear you saying, Keith, we know about the muddy pitch.
Yeah,
Stop going on about it. But no, this is a new pitch altogether. Quick sneaky peek. You'll have guessed, but wait till you see it. We're thrilled to announce we have a new pitch coming. We also have the rematch.
Striker.
The striker rematch between Smiffy and I, which makes the Battle of Santiago.
Wasn't a nice affair, was it?
Looks like a kid's party.
Carnage,
So we have that. We have the start of a 4-month series on Subbuteo rules. And we'll be starting today with the advanced rules from 1968, partly because they're the rules
That's
we
the
play,
rules we play, yeah.
but also they're quite interesting because they are the last rules Subbuteo created before Peter Adolph, the inventor of the game, left Subbuteo Sports Games. So it's a nice way to start our series. So we also have the competitions. We have a few other bits and pieces that are going to keep you interested, we hope.
Hopefully, yes.
And we have our third leg back as well.
Good old Dave, yeah.
Good old Dave. So, as is becoming tradition on the programme, let us go join Danielle to tell you the winner of last month's competition and to share what it is they have won.
We're here.
Danielle.
Yes, firstly, I'd really like to thank everybody who entered. We have had the most entries this month than we've ever seen. I also want to say a massive welcome to all the new viewers from Germany and Italy. Welcome.
Yes, you are indeed. Very welcome. Now, do you know why I've come running over here? It suddenly dawned on me while I was sitting there that you may not know the answer to the competition.
Oh.
Because, as far as I remember, you weren't here and I haven't told you.
Wow.
So I thought I'd come running over here and make it look like it was professionally deliberate. So, those of you who entered the competition will know that the question was, we asked you to name these 3 players and the clubs that they were playing for when the photo was taken. So, the players are number 1, Andy Gray, Aston Villa. Number 2,
Steve Coppell, Manchester United.
well done. And the third, the one that gave you the most trouble, is Peter Houseman of Chelsea. We had a bundle of replies suggesting it was John Hollins. But it was indeed Peter Houseman, and he scored Chelsea's first goal in the FA Cup final in 1970. And if you're a regular YouTube watcher, if you type in Chelsea v Watford 1970, which will be the FA Cup semi-final, you'll see him having a truly great game. So let's show you all the people who sent in a correct answer. You'll be on this list. We're only going to leave it up briefly. If you want to check your names on it, just hit pause. And before we motor on, over the last 2 months, I've had 2 emails from people saying, hey, we submitted the right answer, but we weren't included on the list. Our mailbag is almost exploding these days, isn't it? It really is. Now, we don't mind that but sifting through the different emails can take a while, and we are prone to the occasional mistake. So if you're entering our competition, could you kindly put competition in the subject of your email so that we can easily see it? Saves us having to surf through them all. Right, now before we pull out the name, or rather you do,
Yes.
let's just remind you, the winner is going to get these cracking 2 teams. These really are gorgeous. I have been so tempted to change the prize over the last month. I really love these teams. So whoever gets them is going to truly love them. And the other part of the prize
is this lovely card-back scaled pitch from Pegasus.
And remember, if you're so inclined, this fits really snugly into the Pegasus 5-a-side box. Right, let's not delay it any longer, Danielle.
Are you ready?
Yeah, the
Okay.
winner of this month's competition is...
Ulrich Munsterberg.
I don't believe it, another second-time winner. Ulrich, congratulations. The 2 teams and the pitch are yours. We probably have your address somewhere, but I will be in touch with you in the next couple of days.
Well done.
Well done, Ulrich. May I kindly remind you that entries for this competition will only be accepted if they are sent to the following email address: info@tabletopyears.com. Please do not put your answers in the comments section under the video, or they will be deleted and they won't be entered into the draw. Thank you. Many of you will be familiar with this, our Subbuteo training pitch. It's the pitch we've used for our Subbuteo challenge throughout the series. In reality, it comes from a Subbuteo skill set, reference C189. Now, it's a really useful pitch. It's half size, and the various markings on it have made it really useful for demonstrating certain skills in Subbuteo. Its downside is that it is made of nylon, and because it's made of nylon, the threaded nature of the pitch means that it catches bases, it catches the ball, and can be a complete pain in the backside. So largely because of the frailties of this pitch that I've mentioned, it is coming to the end of its value to us, and we are about to change it and replace it with something I'll show you in a moment. But by way of celebrating all the great service it's given us, we have a West Ham ladies player here, we have a chap from Everton. Let's see if one last time we can show what this pitch has been good for. Oh, there's a bit of pressure for the chap to follow. How apt that it should finish 1-1. I'm sure that all of you will have guessed by now that our surprise announcement for you this month is that following our successful collaboration with Enrico Tecchiati at Astro in creating our muddy pitch, we have gone into partnership with Pegasus Subbuteo World in Yorkshire to create a new version of our Table Football Monthly Challenge pitch, a gorgeous textured Astro pitch in a squared mown pattern that will give us a new lease of life for our Subbuteo Challenge and will be available to one and all at the end of next month, and we are very excited by it. Right, well, let's christen the new pitch the same way we said goodbye to the old one. Ladies first. Ooh, she's only gone and done it again. Well, we love that, and how nice it is to have such a nice surface to train on. No loose threads, no nylon slipperiness, as you can see, perfectly demonstrated by our 2 players having a go at the sliding challenge. At the outset, it was my intention just to reveal this new AstroTurf training pitch. But now that we've done a chip, we've had a go on the slide, we may as well complete the trilogy with a spin. Now, this new AstroTurf surface should offer a more clinical grip for sliding players. The sheen on the old nylon pitch always used to give you a little slip, which was unpredictable and unpleasant. So let's see. Oh yeah, we're happy with that. We can feel the grip on that. Oh, this is going to be so much more fun. Yes, 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 yes. Right, well, this will be available from the end of next month. Oh. And whether or not you lot are interested in it, it's certainly going to be featured here on our Subbuteo challenge. Lovely. This isn't just a surprise for you, it was a surprise also for Smiffy's visit earlier today.
What have you done here, mate? What have you done to me training ground of dreams?
It's had a facelift. It's what happens when you're away for 12 weeks. New Astro turf. What do you reckon?
Looks lovely, mate, looks lovely. Last one was a bit worn out like me, I think.
It was a little worn out and I was never a big fan of the nylon, but get round, have a closer look.
I'll have a look, mate.
I know you're a bit rusty, mate, but as a presenter of the programme, you are obliged to have a go. I've set up a player. Give it the old slide challenge.
Thank you very much, but I won't be needing him. I have brought with me a Premier League, a West Ham striker.
Safe and Smith, the international man of mystery, the policeman's pin-up, the housewife's choice, the fisherman's friend, is back in the studio after 14 long weeks away to play his first Cebuchio shot on the new, the fluffy, the amazing AstroTurf training pitch of dreams. It's a big build-up, mate. You better get it. Here we go. Quiet in the room, please. Quiet in the room. Shh. Now. How did you ever get the name Safe Hands?
Goalkeeping, mate.
Hard as it may be for you to believe, and we'll have no sniggering at the back, I've been asked over the last 2 months, in getting up towards 20 emails, if I would demonstrate some of the methods I use for playing straight shots, passes, chipping and spinning in Cebuchio. Now I'm not going to do a tutorial because that rather presupposes I'm qualified to do so. So I don't want to do that, but I'm very happy to share a few techniques I use. I'll try and make the thing interesting with nice close-ups and cutaways so that if nothing else, at least it's quite an entertaining watch. So where are we going to start? Well, as with any sport, whether you're playing golf, darts, tennis, snooker, whatever you're playing, the first and most important thing is to make sure your kit is in the best condition it can be and it is well looked after. So in the case of Cebuchio, we are talking about that. And I don't want you to think I'm ignoring our left-handed friends. If you'll just wait for a moment, or that. So we are playing with this finger. Now the very least you want to do before you start is make sure that when you're bridging and getting ready to flick a player, that feels comfortable. If your nail is ragged and it is catching on the pitch, or you're even just aware of it, feeling awkward, it is going to affect the level of comfort you have and will therefore affect the quality of your play. So get your nail filed, and also if you're playing on somebody else's pitch, the last thing they need is your nail scagging along their lovely surface. So get your nail in shape, that's the first thing, so it's nice and comfortable working on the pitch. Now, to spread the love, I'm going to use these three players. Subbuteo celluloid, we've got a heavyweight Sheffield Wednesday player here and a rather beautifully painted Everton straight line sliding player here. They're going to represent the three player types, pretty much chosen at random, as we do each trick, so you can see how they work across the spectrum of player types. So the first thing we're going to do is flicking in a straight line. I've chosen the Subbuteo UEFA Champions League pitch as our testing pitch for this first test, simply because it has stripes going across the pitch, which makes it easy for us to see that the player is going in a straight line. So we've got our celluloid player here, and the most important thing to do first of all is to create a bridge. However you do that, what you are looking for is a stable platform. The more stable and more comfortable your platform is, the more hope you have of achieving the shot you are aiming for. So for me, the bridge is a rather more upright version of my snooker bridge. And what I want to be able to do is move my first finger relatively comfortably without having to move my hand. So that once my bridge is planted on the pitch and I've made up my mind about my hand position, the only thing that's flexible, left and right, back and forth, is the finger I'm going to use. I do not move the others. Once you have a bridge that you feel comfortable and confident in, the main thing then is to feel that you can get a straight flicking movement with your finger. So we get behind the player, we create our bridge. Now we want this flicking finger to be straight. We don't want to be coming at towards the player at an angle. So straight behind the player, and just be sure that your finger is moving back and forth in a very straight line. Okay, then it should be a simple matter of flicking. And at this stage, we don't care how far we're flicking it. All we want to do is know that we are flicking within the boundaries of this mown lighter green stripe. So we're not causing the player to spin, we're not causing him to veer out of control. We are making time after time a straight flick. Okay, so there'll be no games on this. In order to play it fair for you guys and for you to have any faith in what I'm saying, I won't put in any edits when we're demonstrating flick shots. Hopefully, as you can see, we're varying the length now without any real strain or bother. The player's going where we want in a straight line as long as we want. It's perfect. Okay, then we take our Cebuchio player, our heavyweight Cebuchio player, and adopt the same bridge. And don't worry initially about how far you're flicking it. Just be pleased initially that he's going straight, and then if you want to, just gradually increase the distance you're flicking it. Just stay patient, don't allow yourself to get frustrated, take your time, and whilst you're doing all of this, particularly if you're coming back to the game at a certain age, make sure your whole body is comfortable, that you're standing comfortably, your back isn't aching, because you've got to put some time into this stuff. And the thing about it, it genuinely is foolproof. You can see for yourself. Nothing can go wrong if your bridge is straight, your finger is straight, you flick straight. You're not leaving anything open to chance. Now these flat-based straight line sliding players have got bases like drafts pieces and very large flat bottoms. They are designed primarily for sliding, so this should be a piece of cake, but you still want to be accurate and you still want to be able to control length. So initially, again, don't start off being too dramatic and trying to slide the full length of the pitch. Just gradually increase your length, the confidence of your straight line flicking, until you feel you can pick your distance, be it short, medium, and long. With regular practicing, not enough to drive you mad, but hopefully you can enjoy it. With regular practicing of mastering your straight flick over different distances, we should easily be able to hit a ball. But our expectations will always be higher than that. We don't just want to hit the ball, we want to arrive at it, slowing down, but keep control of it. In each of those cases, we're ready for our second flick and ready to cause some mischief to our opponent. Three consecutive shots with three different player types, and we've pretty much landed in or on the edge of the yellow circles. The difference mastering a straight flick will make to your game is impossible to calculate. Knowing that you can hit that target, you can get your player through that gap. You can make whatever kind of contact with the ball that you want. Will make a massive difference, not only to the quality of your game, but also to your enjoyment of it. Now, let's be honest. Proclaiming you can flick a Subbuteo player in a straight line is not going to have your friends carrying you aloft on their shoulders in triumph. It's not going to make you more attractive to the opposite sex. But what it will do will add confidence to your game, and confidence in turn will increase your ability to surprise your opponent with a wider range of shots. And that's whether you're in possession, lining up for a shot, or perhaps one of Subbutio's most underrated moves, blocking. If you can consistently block your opponent, ultimately you are going to win more games. No one is going to convince you that blocking is as sexy as rifling a shot into the top corner, but it is equally important. Too often, too many players are a little bit lazy about blocking. They're more interested in being in possession. The result of that is you see a lot of lazy, shoveling, semi-legal flicks that really don't do the game justice. If you can master that long straight flick, the quality of your blocking game will go through the roof. And when it does that, you will start to enjoy this aspect of the game even more, and it'll make you even more successful. Spinning, the black art of Subbuteo, the voodoo magic of Peter Radolph's fabulous game. But why is it that we find it such a mystical art? We shouldn't, because after all, spinning was one of the basic foundations in the development of the game, one of the intrinsic elements of the game we love. Spin to win. Here's one of the earliest leaflets, and at the top a legend many of you will have heard. They swerve and they spin as they weave on their way. So why is it gives us palpitations and a bit of a twitch? Well, in my personal opinion, it's because spinning has too high a degree of unpredictability about it. And when you're playing a game, and particularly if you're under pressure, and you've got to play a shot that you can't really feel confident is going to work, then it doesn't make you feel that clever. And when you look at the modern game with the straight line sliding players, to a large extent, they've eliminated spinning altogether. Now, I think this is unfair. Spinning is a thing of great beauty. It can bewitch and bewilder your opponent to the point where they'll fall to their knees and throw the towel in. I can't say that I've ever seen that happen, but it could. So what I want to do is show you how I get different players to spin. And as usual with Table Football Monthly, we're not claiming to be the Holy Grail, just that it may give you some ideas and some things to practice. To do so, we are going to use these 7 player types. So let me introduce you to them. Our police lineup consists of a celluloid player from the early 50s in Bolton Wanderers colours. We have a heavyweight from 67 or thereabouts in Sheffield Wednesday colours. We have a zombie in the colours of Walsall or Poland. We have a lightweight from the 80s in the colours of Southampton. Here we have a player carrying the name of Topspin. How confident does that make you feel he's going to be able to spin? This is in the Poland colours of their 1974 World Cup campaign. We have a Santiago-based Chelsea player here in the colours of Chelsea's 1970 FA Cup replay team. And finally, Doncaster Rovers on a Zugo version of the heavyweight base. Right, let's start with the celluloid and the big 25mm ball and see how the original Subbuteo players did the deed. Our first player on the Oki is our celluloid in Bolton colours. A quick apology, by the way, for the couple of really heavy rain showers we've had pounding on the roof. I hope they've not interfered too much with your listening pleasure. They seem to have abated now. Right, here is our celluloid. Before we can spin this chap, we need to understand his base. By Subbuteo standards, it's quite small. Its semi-hemispherical base is rather spoilt by this flat bit on the bottom. But it is rather necessary because it's that flat bottom that enables the player to slide as we saw earlier. So if we're going to make our Bolton Wanderers man spin, we have to destabilise him. Now that means we've got to create the means by which, almost seeing a car go onto two wheels, we've got to get him onto his side, curling around in an arc to hit a ball without hitting the skittles between us. So to do that, imagine his base is a clock, and what we want to do is attack the base at 5 o'clock. So we're flicking the way we want him to go out. We want him to go out like that. So we go in at 5 o'clock, we want our flick to be straight, but more importantly, we want it to be slightly upward, and we want to put in a follow through. Okay, that will give you the smooth fluidity to get him into a spin. Now I must say, this nylon pitch is so slippery, it has such a sheen on it, that spinning players on it is actually rather difficult, which is why I am absolutely thrilled we have decided to create a new one. But in any event, it's the only pitch we've got, so let's keep going. But as you can see, we're spinning around the skittles and we're hitting the ball. Here in his lovely 60s Sheffield Wednesday kit, we have the heavyweight. These are the player types I'm most familiar with, so I would hope to be able to do okay with these. Here in his Walsall colours, the zombie, and as you can see the technique is the same and the result is the same. Here, resplendent in his Southampton strip from the 80s, we have the lightweight. I really do dislike this nylon pitch, because what's happening is the players are not spinning as cleanly as they should, they're also sliding, which they wouldn't do on a cotton pitch, as I'll demonstrate to you in a minute. Next up, in their rather groovy 74 World Cup strip, we have the Poland national strip. Topspin by name and topspin by nature, we hope. Now many of you will know these are a more modern player type. And of all the modern player types, in my opinion, the best. Very predictable, very well manufactured, and if you're getting them from Paul Lloyd, very well painted. Here, Santiago, Chelsea FA Cup Final 1970 replay strip. Now he's got a lighter base than the others, but same technique, and the boy done good. Finally, a little bit heavier than the other players, our Zugo player on a heavyweight base. But he's quite happy with the same technique as well. The reverse spin is exactly the same technique, only rather than 5 o'clock, you're looking to place your finger between 6 and 7 o'clock. All well and good, I hear you say, on the training pitch, but what about the real thing? Let's get the players on the pitch. Oh, a flick like that can feel better than scoring a goal. If you're coming back to Subbuteo, or Cebuchio is new for you, you may be confused by this spinning malarkey because you'll have seen games online that do and you'll have seen games that don't. So just to clarify it quickly, if you want to play Subbuteo as devised and invented by Peter Adolf in 1947 and then evolved by Subbuteo sports games up until the end of the 20th century, then spinning is a key and important element of that game. And if you can add that skill to your arsenal, you really will see a massive improvement in your play. If on the other hand, you've seen online these straight line sliding players, beautifully decaled, very elegant, slide beautifully, chip magnificently, then you won't see spinning as part of that. And my view is to play and embrace both, because after all, you can't have too much skill, can you? Right, we have flicked in a straight line, we have done some spinning. It's about time we did some chipping. One of the truly fascinating things about Subbuteo is that it is so adaptable, and that goes for your flicking style. As long as ultimately you're flicking the ball, whether it's your first finger, your second finger, as long as you're not using your thumb as a spring or scraping, then you can adapt things to whatever suits you most, to the size of your hand, to your nails, whatever makes you most comfortable. And that is never truer than with chipping. Now for me, I use a short, sharp pitch and putt method. So it's a quick downward stroke on the base and a very short follow through. You'll see this in slow-mo in a minute. What that does is it pushes the player's base slightly downwards underneath the ball and you get the chip. Now, with our low profile sliding players, they don't need all of that. You can just give them a gentle shunt and the ball will lift. So with the sliding players, as you're about to see, there you're just concentrating on power and accuracy so that you're not knocking the ball miles over the bar. The exact opposite of the other player types where you do need power. Because they don't have a natural lifting base, a base that naturally goes under the ball, it needs to be pushed by your finger. Power is definitely important to get that to move. But the style I've just mentioned to you, the pitch and putt, will work with both. But as I said, have a look, adapt it, play with it. Sadly, it's not very sexy, but the only way to master this art, as with anything, is to practice over and over till you find the method that works for you. The lone 25mm ball tells us it's time for the Subbuteo celluloid player. This time, we're not looking at celluloid Cyril from Bolton. We have the Blackpool Wizard of the Wing, Stanley Matthews. And in fact, there is celluloid Cyril from Bolton, giving him the eyes. Right, come on, Stan. Centre top in one take. The world is watching. Don't let us down. Right, come on, we really want this. Finish it off, first take. Come on. Right, here we go. Stan! Yeah! Actually, I'm sounding too surprised. Of course it went in. We expected nothing less. I hope you found at least some of that helpful. Now, what normally happens after I've done one of these demonstrations is I get genuinely a flood of emails and messages saying it would be so much more of an incentive if we had a training pitch to practice on. Well, the original one with the Subbuteo skill set is now exceedingly rare. But with our replica coming out at the end of the month, if you think that's going to help you, keep your eyes open at Subbuteo World and get yourself one. It certainly helped me, and with it being so small and compact, you can fit this pitch almost anywhere. Right, now on the table next door and continuing our Subbuteo theme, we have Danielle demonstrating a product that has only come into the studio this week.
Thanks, Keith. I've never claimed to know a lot about table football. However, working with these two, I've certainly learnt a bit. Not much. However, I never thought in my wildest dreams would I see women's table football. These sets were issued by the FA to all the teams in the Women's Super League in 2018. This particular kit was issued to West Ham ladies and features their home and away kit. These sets were never released for general sale and are quite rare. The set is an official FA product, licensed of course by Hasbro. Personally, I quite like this box, but we're more interested in what's inside. When I first saw this today, I was actually really quite excited. But as you can see, it's a little bit disappointing. I don't want to moan, but you lads getting in a tray. I'm a little bit miffed about that, but I will hold back further comment until we see how it plays. Here we go then. Let's start with the pitch. Ooh, it feels a little bit flimsy, and I'm only guessing, but a bit small. Let's lay this out. It is short and not wide enough. Where's the rest of my pitch? I've got a short pitch and a player missing. Oh, there it is, my mistake. Ready? Right, I've got a bad feeling about this. We're going to give it the thread test. Keith's not going to be happy. First off, you'll notice these have a very low profile base, like a drafts piece, but very lightweight plastic, almost like a children's toy. The player slots in with a peg, and there's no real weight to the base. Time for a flick. Albeit a nylon pitch, it does have quite a nice sheen to it, and I do think the players will glide really well. White base is West Ham home kit, red base is away, but you knew that. 1-0. I'm not too keen on the pitch, and the goals aren't doing it for me either. The nets don't fit. Ugh. I've had the luxury here at Table Football Monthly of using the metal goals. But I really love the players. The plastic's a little bit tacky, but they work really well. And I love the modelling of them, especially the hairstyles. For once, I'm trying to do a piece all by myself, and Keith is supposed to be my quiet goalkeeper, but he has to have a shot, doesn't he? Well, I'm gonna save it. That won't be in the edit. That won't be in the edit.
Sorry, Danielle. The subject of Subbuteo has been the major topic of this month's edition, and for many of us, that's not a big deal. But around the studio for many, many weeks now, we have been discussing a certain striker rematch. Well, yesterday, July the 25th, the game took place. In the summer of 2018, we played a studio striker five-a-side competition, and outrageously and against a run of play,
Excuse me.
somebody other than me won.
That'd be me then, wouldn't it? Yes.
Which has been eating away at me for a long time, partly because, as the film proves, I was desperately unlucky and Smiffy won with a really
A classic goal.
Admittedly.
Best goal that's been scored in this studio since we've been doing this.
Yeah, I know it's true. It was a
Thank you.
classic goal. All right, I've said it.
Right, well
It's a
done.
classic goal.
no,
So,
right.
what I want to do today is get revenge and, as well as annihilating him, is to score a better goal.
That ain't gonna happen, is it?
But there's controversy before the match. Two things have changed. This time, we're playing on grass. Well, on a playmat.
So, yeah.
There's no springy rebound wall.
No, just a bit of fencing.
The second thing is, which is hot news off the press, Smiffy is not using his trophy winning Crystal Palace. What's the story, Ballamore?
Well, you've got to give them a rest. They've had a hard season, and plus these two relegated sides from the Premiership. Nice for them to have a run out, I thought.
Oh,
Villa,
that is low.
Watford,
That
bye-bye.
is low.
Right.
You need to know that we're shooting this on a Saturday.
Yes.
West Ham and Villa are playing the last game of the season tomorrow. And West Ham could
Right.
put us down. So we won't be talking tomorrow. Right, well, what I suggest is, where's the trophy? Have you brought
Oh,
it?
what, this bit of cheap plastic you gave me last
Cheap
time?
plastic. It's what
There
it
it is.
stands for.
Look at
It
that. Really
counts.
worth it, eh?
It's what it stands for.
Look
I
at
remember
that.
all that gloating last
Eh?
time.
Bet Pickles wouldn't have found that.
I'll have a little, I'll have a little practice holding that for
Yeah,
later.
that's about the only time you're going to hold it.
Right, we're going to have a quick kick about 8 minutes each way.
That'll do then.
Okay. So, may the best man
As
win.
long as it's me.
See you in a minute.
Right. Tell you what, this boy is a glutton for punishment.
Truth told, I'm not feeling all that confident.
Right, got a nice crossfield pass here.
Playing it safe, mate. That's what you're doing.
But,
Go on then, that's what
with
we
a
got.
bit of curl. Oh, too hard.
All the way out. I need a bit of luck.
Oh, he's going to try and slot it through.
No, let's go to feet. That's the ball. That's the ball. Now, last time I had a chance, he screwed it. This is it. Oh! Hate to say it, mate, but not a bad
Not
save.
bad, not bad.
Oh,
I
same
think
old,
the
same old.
same
Coming
old,
again,
yeah.
coming
Oh, he's
again.
blocked it well.
I've had you every
Can I
time.
get the angle?
Oh,
Oh,
just!
it's through.
Right, I can bring a defender back. Just going to try and get in the way a bit.
Cut this one across. Oh, bottom left hand corner. Wallop.
Ball slipped through his legs a bit.
It's in your area, though.
I might just give
Is
it a
he
little
coming
bit
across? He's
No,
going, he's
we're
going.
doing a little bit of knocking the ball about now, mate.
Oh, he's
The
taking it.
Villa are relaxing into the game. We have to do something quick though, it's not long.
Oh,
No!
he's blown it.
Oh, going for the diagonal.
Oh,
Not bad, mate, you've gone a bit wide. Right, one of our correspondents asked us about the defender rule. You can bring a defender back to defend against an attack or on a free kick.
you ready for this?
Yeah, go.
Deeney. Oh, weak, but
Or pushed
kept
away.
out.
Right, that's come out very nicely for you,
Yeah.
mate. Jammy again.
Oh, banged it wide.
It's landed in his slot.
Go on then, how many shots have you had so far?
I've only had one, but I'm having trouble judging the pace of the pitch
Oh.
until
Here he comes.
here we go. Oh, you've done it again!
Safe hands. Oh, 2 feet. More jam than that is.
That was quite good luck.
Yeah, no.
And we're gonna have to be
Fancy a
quick.
chance, fancy a chance.
Oh, right on our time. Well, with the scores at 1-1 at half time, we're privileged to be joined by the Watford manager, Smiffy. I've got to say, we're not really seeing the level of entertainment we were expecting today.
Well, I don't know. Expectations are high. You know, it's been a long old season for them. There's a few tired legs, but they're doing their best out there.
As an unbiased judge, I've got to say Little's been all over you, and it's only your keeper who's kept you in the game.
Could be that. Could be that.
Cut it!
There'll be a short intermission whilst I confiscate that microphone.
Right, we got no microphone anymore, so that might have to be the end of the half-time interviews.
Yeah, we was going to get a bit nasty out there anyway, I
It
think.
was getting a little bit childish.
Yes, yes.
So 1-1 then, and second half.
I think so, yeah.
Should we change ends?
Why not?
We both did the same thing.
I know.
Well, the last one was only 2-1. It was hardly a feast of goals, was it?
2-1 to me, I believe.
Yeah. Plenty of time yet.
Oh, we'll see. Oh, look.
Because that is the
Oh,
pass,
look at that.
mate.
That's the one.
That is the pass that won the match.
Man running back.
Prepare yourself. Now, can he get under it? And... Oh, you saved it again!
Nice.
Gotta be. Can't keep wasting these chances, and you can't keep stopping them. What do you think of the little trick? Here we go. Oh, he's roofed it a little bit. Don't you dare.
Here we go.
You
Come on.
cannot get fluky twice. Oh!
Saved. How long left then?
Not long enough for you, mate.
You reckon?
Can we keep possession? That's the
Let's see
question.
what we can do
Till
here.
the buzzer goes. Or do we go? Do we go for a third? Come on. Oh, it
nice.
fluked. It fluked.
Your man's through.
Bottom
Oh,
corner. Bottom corner. You're
Gutted.
stuck.
Gutted.
I've just realised there's a colour clash between my keeper and your players. He's in the middle.
Don't matter, mate. He's
Slide
earned his
tackle,
wages
slide
now.
tackle. Hang on.
Hey.
Oh! Come on. The buzzer's about to go.
Oh,
What are you
Troy's
doing?
shouting
What
for
are you doing?
it. Go on, son.
Yeah! Don't matter, mate. 3-2. 3-2.
Gutted. Gutted.
Well, there's going to be no gloating because we are not at all like that here on Table Football Monthly. We are gentlemen above all.
Aren't we just?
And a very close game, finished 3-2. I'm going to give you best goal of the game.
Thank you very much. It's
That
very kind
last
of you.
goal
It was, yeah.
went in before the
The
ringer had
buzzer was
stopped,
still going, so it was counted.
which made it 3-2 as
Yeah.
opposed to 3-1. So you've got to do the gentlemanly thing, mate, and hand
Yeah.
over the trophy.
It'd be a pleasure, sir.
Thank you. I cannot believe you did that. I cannot believe you're right. You
Go on.
get. Ow!
I got it.
You get that.
Hey.
Ow!
Watch me teeth.
Ow, what you- Oh, you should. Oh, look what you've done there.
Don't care, mate.
Over the next 4 months, we are going to be taking a look at Subbuteo and sports table football rules. Why? Well, partly because they're interesting and partly because they have adapted and developed over the last 73 years. Now, the 4 mileposts that we have chosen start with today, which will be the Advanced Subbuteo Rules of 1968. These are of particular interest to me, partly because they're the rules Smiffy and I play by, but more importantly, they're the last rules that were created before Peter Adolf, the inventor of Cebuchio in 1947, left Subbuteo Sports Games in 1971. So they're quite poignant and were the last ones that he oversaw. Next month, we're going to look at the Advanced Subbuteo Rules of the 80s to see how they developed during the peak of Subbutio's global popularity. Then Paul Lloyd has kindly sent me a copy of the FISA rules. These were created by Subbuteo for their events. And then finally, in the 4th part, we'll be looking at the Fistful rules to see how the spin-off of Subbuteo, sports table football, has changed the nature of the game. So, today we start with Advanced Rules 1968. So the first thing is, this was still a point when Subbuteo considered their game to be a replica of association football. So the first thing, you were advised is to set up a traditional football formation. Anything weird or perceived to be weird, certainly if there was a referee present, would give the referee the right to ask you to change it. So let's have a look at our layout. We've got Manchester City and Manchester United kits from the 60s to see how that looks. Here we have City lined up 4-3-3 and United 4-2-4, both popular formations in the 60s. The most interesting and standout rule from the 1968 Advanced Rules is how possession and defending works. Now, those of you who've been regular viewers to Table Football Monthly, particularly when I've been doing demonstrations of player types or at different pitches, will know that I love an expansive game. I love the ability to be able to create interesting tactical shapes, to play long, flowing passes, great diagonal through balls, and to have the space to do so. In the Advanced Rules of 68, your opponent cannot play any blocking shots when you are playing in your own half. The benefit of this is A, you get to play some nice passes, you get the time to have a think, but also you can look at the whole pitch and in your mind's eye create moves by which you think you can get into an attacking position. Then, once the ball enters your opponent's half, as the player in possession, you get one free hit in your opponent's half before he can then have 3 defensive moves after each of your following flicks. Here, playing as Coventry, I want to get to my left wing. While I'm in my own half, Smiffy gets a chance to rest for a moment. Then I have my free flick in his half before he can commence blocking.
First block.
Again, I'm starting from the back. After my one free flick in Smiffy's half, he moves to block, but it's 1-0. Tactically, I love this rule because it gives you 2 fantastic options. You can try and play yourself through so that the first flick you have in your opponent's half is a shot at goal. And imagine how frustrating that is. There is nothing your opponent can do about it. If, however, that isn't possible, then you have a wonderful tactical battle. You have got the opportunity to make your opponent use his 3 defensive flicks before you play the killer pass, where again, he can do nothing. If you play backwards, of course, his 3 flicks start again. And once again, you've got to play your way into an attacking position. I love that. Here, United play across the field to make their attack from their left wing. My aim is to reach my centre forward hovering on the shooting line. My free flick in his half puts me in before the defenders can move. Again, one of the 68 Advanced Rules' interesting features is the fact that if you play the ball into the shooting area and shout or announce shooting, the player loses his defensive flick. Now this is quite interesting. It gives you the equivalent of a first time shot that catches the defence unawares. So if you play into the shooting area and shout shooting, the defender loses his flick. If, however, you suddenly change your mind and revert to passing, then the defender is allowed his flick. So if you announce that you're going to shoot, the defender loses his defensive flick. If you then change your mind, you can't just be canny, play a quick pass and shoot. You have to announce that you've changed your mind so that the defender does get his defensive flick. But it's a really nice thought. I love that idea of hitting a first time shot and the defence being left without any means of getting in the way. Offside in 68 Subbuteo rules is about as straightforward as it gets. If you have a player offside, irrespective of whether he's active, irrespective of whether he's interfering with play, he is offside. So the offside rule, much as the real rule is, if there is only the goalkeeper between your player and the goal line, you are offside. There needs to be the goalkeeper and one other player. From a defensive viewpoint, you have to keep one defender within the shooting line at all times. Your get out of jail card is to call for an onside flick before offside can be called. Next, we'll take a look at the issue of back. Now what this means is that when you are attacking, should the defender commit an offence, that can be as you're attacking, his player accidentally hits the ball or his player hits one of your players. You are given the choice to carry on if that is an advantage to you, or you can bring the play back to the move before the offence occurred and your defender will lose his right to 3 defensive flicks. Here, the defender clips the ball. We go back, but I play the ball backwards, so defence regains their 3 flicks. In Subbuteo 68 rules, the area refers to the shooting area. You have your attacking area and your defensive area. This is inside the shooting line. If, when you take a goal kick, the ball travels from your shooting area into your opponent's shooting area, then the defender gets possession. Peter Adolf felt that was too far for a goal kick to travel. Obviously, he never watched Pat Jennings. Equally, if you have a free kick in your shooting area and the ball travels all the way to the opposing one, you lose possession again. On the subject of goalkeeping, when the keeper is facing the shot, he remains on the ground and he remains upright. There is no hovering, there is no hovering sideways. Again, this is an effort to maintain realism. In essence, that's it. There's the usual 3 flicks for a free kick, 3 flicks for a corner, 1 flick for a throw-in. But what I love about these rules, in summary, it allows for an expansive, realistic game. It allows for attacking football and it gives the advantage to a player in possession, which is pretty much like the real game. When you're in possession, you are dictating the pace of the game. You are in a position to catch the defence unawares. In more modern rules, where it's flick for flick, you're not given that chance because the defender is always on you. The defensive player is following you around the pitch. That makes a short ball game. It makes for your decisions being taken away from you. That is my opinion, and it's certainly one of the reasons why 68 Advanced Rules are the rules that Smiffy and I play. It really is a splendid way to enjoy Cebuchio the way Peter Adolf designed it. House Rules. Since Smiffy and I came across our first Subbuteo set way back in about 71 or 72, we have always played the 1968 Advanced Rules, and they suit us perfectly because we like the game to be expansive. We like it to be realistic, and we both like for our opponent to have room in which to play.
Absolutely.
Now that we're older, it's even better because following each other around the table, move for move, would kill us. So it's ideal for us. And like many Subbuteo players, we also have house rules, but only 2 of them, and we have had these 2 rules since the beginning of time.
Yes.
And that rule is, if a player scores but follows the ball into the net, we do not allow the goal.
No, not at all. And if he earns a corner but also ends up in the back of the net, that's ruled out as well.
That becomes a goal kick.
Goal kick.
And the reason is we both enjoy the beautiful game.
That's the word, beautiful.
Yeah. Anything that sees the player flying through the air into the back of the net eradicates either a goal or a corner, and the decision is reversed. Now, what's interesting for us is if you go back through every single edition of Table Football Monthly and every goal Smiffy and I have shown,
maybe you,
you will never ever see a player ending up in the goal, because for us we just don't like it. And our second house rule is
backs. We don't have backs.
We don't do backs. No. If a player commits an offence, then it's a free kick.
That's right.
Because that sort of rewind of taking play back doesn't happen in the real game. It spoils the flow. And also, if you know you're going to concede a free kick by hitting the ball when it's not your possession or hitting a player, it makes you a bit more careful. So those are our 2 house rules. Otherwise, Advanced Rules 68.
Yes, absolutely.
Time for a kick-off,
I reckon so.
Let's do it. It's time for this month's competition, and should you decide to enter, there is a fabulous bundle on offer for the winner. Firstly though, I have to say a massive thank you to Kevin Halliday. He won these 2 Zugo heavyweight based teams way back in our second lockdown edition, but he's kindly redonated them, partly to save us the cost of postage to the other side of the world, but also because he's a modern Subbuteo player. So you have American Virgin Islands and Tanzania, fantastic Zugo players on heavyweight bases. You then have a brand new, still wrapped Subbuteo Winter Edition pitch. And if that wasn't enough, Pete and Sandra at Cebuchio World are donating a Europa League trophy. Now this trophy is metal. It is gorgeous. and well worth receiving. So what do you have to do to win this outrageously cool bundle? Well, the question for this month, I think, is a bit of fun and hopefully not too difficult. Have a look at these 4 players. Now, what I would like you to do is name them, but more importantly, I want you to tell me the odd one out. So name these 4 players and tell me the odd one out. Now, there may be a million things they have in common, but there is only one answer I am looking for. And the only clue you're going to get is it's a bit of a fun question. So of these 4 players, can you name them and tell me the odd one out? If you are going to have a go at the competition, kindly remember the rules. Don't put the answer in the comment section under the video because I'm forced to delete it and you won't be entered into the draw. Please just send your answers to this email address, info@tabletopyears.com. Now, whilst I'm here, there is a second way to get in touch with us if you would like. We now have a Facebook group and it's called, understandably enough, Table Football Monthly. So if you go to Facebook, type Table Football Monthly, you will find the group. If you decide to join us, you will get previews of what's coming up in future episodes, behind the scenes photos, bits and pieces from around the studio, and a chance to have a chat with Danielle, Smiffy, or me. So if you are going to enter the competition, good luck. Try and get your answers in, please, by August the 25th. And Danielle, hopefully, will pull your name out of the hat. Time for one final update on the Table Football Monthly Muddy Pitch. This has been approved and it is going into production. I'm hoping it will be ready at the end of August or the first week of September. So for our next edition, the August edition of Table Football Monthly, I hope to be able to give away one as our competition prize. Over the next 3 weeks, I will get in touch with all of you who have shown an interest in owning one of these to let you know the final details on the price. I can't announce it now because I'm just waiting for how the print is going to occur, how it's going to be delivered to me, and how we're going to get it out to you. But I will announce that price by email to everybody who's shown an interest. So hopefully, if you're one of those people who want to own one of these, you could be playing on it in September. Fancy seeing you here.
Thank you. So do you think that's the final version of the muddy pitch then?
I don't think we can get it any better. So now it's really only a...
What is that?
That is my striker trophy. Smiffy threw it away. Smiffy.
What are you two like?
I'm putting it on the shelf. Well found, you.
Can't be left.
Very happy with that. Oh, and to celebrate Villa staying in the Premier League, I have these 2 gorgeous watercolours from Dave Baldwin. Many of you will have seen Dave Baldwin's work on the internet. He covers a range of subjects from football stadia, Second World War aircraft, you name it. I will put his details on at the end of the programme. But if you would like to have your ground painted in watercolour, Dave is your man.
Well, that just about wraps it up for July's edition of Table Football Monthly. It's been so fantastic to be back and have Smithy back. And well, you just never went away.
That is harsh. Harsh but true. It's because I've got nowhere to go. Just me and my little plastic men and my little green boxes. But still, there's worse places to be, I should think, aren't there? Right, where were you? Wrapping up.
I was, yes.
Well, I have to say, it's been great having you both back.
Yeah, it's been
The
fantastic
whole
to be back.
atmosphere in the studio has been fantastic. Although I've got no idea how long this edition's running for.
Just cut you and Smithy out then.
I don't think people would mind that. I've got visions of you watching this with great long beards and covered in cobwebs. We'll have to check in the edit. It could go on forever. Right, yes, so as I say, it's been great having the trio back. Hope you've enjoyed it. We will see you next time. But before we go running through the door towards the kettle, there are 2 ways now that you can get in touch with us if you are so inclined. The traditional one is our email, info at tabletopyears.com. Or, and this is all new, you can get in touch with us
by our new Facebook group.
We have got a sexy new Facebook group. It's called Table Football Monthly, so just type that into the Facebook search. You'll get previews of what's coming up, behind the scenes photos. You can have a gossip with the three of us, chit chat about this, that and everything. So give that a go if you'd like to. And otherwise, we will see you next month. Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Those were the days. Yeah, those were the days. Tired of being a grown-up, wanna throw it away. I said, Smiffy, let's set up and play. Danielle came along, she was cool, she was blonde. She said,